Hey, welcome to Sports Talk. I'm Scotty Burrell, man. I'm here at UL Ragin Cajuns in the Cajun Dome here. I'm with my guy, my friend, Coach Bob Marlin. Coach, how are you?
I'm good, Scotty. How are you today?
Man, great seeing you. Man, Sports Talk is sponsored by Rytech. Call Rytech in St. Martinville for all your screen printing at 337-394-1020. We're going to take a quick second, let you listen to our sponsors, and we'll be right back with Coach Bob Marlin.
For over 62 years, Poche's Meat Market Restaurant and Smokehouse has been a cornerstone of our community. With a legacy of flavor and tradition, Poche's brings you the finest Cajun meats and dishes crafted with love and expertise. From our famous boudin and cracklings to mouthwatering smoked sausages, every bite tells a story of quality and heritage. Come taste the tradition at Poche's. Join us at Poche's Meat Market and Restaurant, where community and flavor come together. Visit us today and be part of the legacy. Poche's, over 62 years of making every meal memorable. Tax break, income tax, and bookkeeping. Call E.J. Ledette for all of your tax needs. 607 Burrard Street, Breaux Bridge. 337-332-3855. Dane Green's Piggly Wiggly and Tea Cochon. Visit the store for meat market specials or daily plate lunches, or visit Tea Cochon for Hunt's Brothers Pizza and wings and gas. FM Bank. Visit the Business Center, 100 South Main Street, Breaux Bridge, 337-332-4132, or visit the bank at 929 Reese Street, Breaux Bridge. Calais Auto Detail. Established in 2020, bringing dedication to excellence. Contact Dillard Calais, owner-operator, at 337-852-4970. Now back to Sports Talk with Coach Scotty Burrell.
All right, welcome back, man. Hey, I'm here with Coach Bob Marlin, UL Ragin Cajun men's basketball coach. Has been a prominent figure in college basketball since joining the Cajuns since 2010. Under his leadership, the Cajuns have achieved multiple 20-win seasons, made several postseason appearances. Known for his strategic acumen and player development skill, Coach Marlin continued to strive toward new heights in the Sun Belt Conference. Coach, man, it's a blessing to be here, brother. How you doing?
I'm good, Scotty. I appreciate you guys coming out. It's good to see you. Always good to visit.
So how's the family?
Everybody's good, thank you. How about yours?
Everybody's wonderful, man. Grandkids are growing up. But man, this is Sports Talk. We call it a conversation with Scotty Burrell. We're friends, so we just gonna have a genuine conversation. How about that?
Sounds good.
So, Coach, we're gonna get right into it, man. We want to talk about who is Bob Marlin and family. Who is Bob Marlin? Let's let everybody know in case they don't know you.
I'm just a guy from Tupelo, Mississippi that grew up out in the country and loved playing basketball. I was fortunate enough to make a junior high team. I was probably the 13th guy or the 15th member team.
All right.
But I got a pair of Chuck Taylors and I brought them home, and my mom and dad played high school ball and they were excited for me and fell in love with the game, and here I am a long time later.
People don't know what they say Chuck Taylor. That was the original pairs of tennis shoes when we were kids. I remember those, man. I tore a few, I should say, on that nylon, on that concrete court with the nylon shoe. It was just Chuck after a while. We forgot about Taylor. But so, Coach, let's talk about your career. How long have you been coaching, and let's see where you started.
Yeah, I think this is year 44 of collegiate basketball, Scott. It's been an unbelievable journey and a lot of fun. Getting to do something I enjoy doing. I've got a passion to do. Love helping people and love the game. So it's provided a lifetime for me. And bounced around. I started right when I got out of college at Mississippi State. I didn't play in college. I had a couple opportunities to go play. I didn't. I had a brother who was a senior at Mississippi State. I chose to go there. And ironically, after my freshman year there at Mississippi State, we had a coaching change. Ryan Green had come up there from UNO, and he left and went to Murray State. And we hired a guy named Jim Hatfield from USL.
I remember that. I remember
Coach the program Hatfield around here, and Coach Hatfield asked me to work for him, so I was a manager for him for 3 years, and was right there with him and the staff the whole way, and decided it was something I wanted to do. And that's how I got involved. I talked to Coach Hatfield a couple of weeks ago, and he's actually going to be at Paradise Jam in the Virgin Islands when we go down to play at St. Thomas, because he started the program there.
Okay.
So it's a small world.
Small world. Everybody say that it's a small world. So, Coach, we're gonna take one step back. I wanted to ask family. You married and your wife's name and kids.
Yeah, married Jennifer Marlin. She actually played. She's from Ada, Oklahoma,
Okay.
and she was a heck of a player. Scored 46 in a game in high school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she's a competitor.
That's why she be screaming
exactly
on the sideline, well, in the stands.
No, she knows the game.
She knows what she said.
But she thinks she can coach a little bit too. I go home, she'll ask me, why didn't we do this in this situation, or
And then sometimes you might say, you know what, she was right.
Sometimes, but I don't let her know that.
She was right.
I tell her I get that from assistant coaches after the game. I don't need that when I get home.
Right.
I need to take it easy. But yeah, and we've got I've got a son who just got married a couple of weeks ago.
Congratulations.
Yeah, from Conroe, Texas. Matthew, he played here as a senior. He went to UTSA, University of Texas, for 3 years, and then he came back over here and finished and walked on for us and finished in 16. And I've got a daughter, Sailor, that lives here in town, who was a student at UL also.
Oh, great. So back to your career. You started out with Coach Hatfield, and you started coaching. Where was your first head coaching job?
First head coaching job was at Pensacola Junior College.
Okay.
1990, and I inherited a good team. And first year, I really didn't know what I was doing. You think you do as an assistant, right?
Right.
When you move over those 12 to 18 inches on the bench, you suddenly realize that you don't know everything. You thought you did. You don't have all the answers. But I had really good players, Scotty, and they helped me that first year. And we went 25-6, had a heck of a team.
You sound like you know you were doing, Coach.
And then two years later, in 1993, we won the national championship.
Okay.
First in Florida, and 47 years of going to the national championship. And
fantastic!
So it was quite a thrill.
So you did some junior college basketball. I see your next job was Sam Houston, correct?
Right.
So how'd that venture off, in your opinion?
Well, it was good. I left Pensacola and went to University of Alabama.
Okay.
Which was hard. My son was born the year we won the national championship. And he had the whitest sandbox and the biggest sandbox in the country because I lived out at the beach. But it was a great opportunity to go to the SEC. I grew up in the SEC, went to Mississippi State, as we talked about. And David Hobbs asked me to come up and be an assistant coach. I did that. It was a lot of fun. The only issue was I'd been there about 10 days, and our starting sophomore center decided to put his name in the draft, a guy named Antonio McDyess.
Antonio McDyess. Well, you've been around some players.
He was the second pick in the draft.
Yes, indeed.
So I learned real early about losing players, whether it's to transfer portal or to injury, whatever. It's going to happen, and you just got to pick up the pieces and go. And we had another guy, actually, Antonio's roommate, named Roy Rogers, who was a heck of a player himself, from Linden, Alabama, didn't have but one Division I scholarship. He played his way into a first-round pick. He was pick number 26, I believe, by the Vancouver Grizzlies at the time. And we went to the Final Four of the NIT and played in Madison Square Garden. So I was at Alabama for 3 years and left there and went to Sam Houston State.
That's a wow. When you say Vancouver Grizzlies, that's a wow. I was just thinking Grizzlies. That's the Memphis Grizzlies now, but you're right. That was some time.
And you remember one of the other players, Scotty, they had there was Big Country Reeves. He played at Oklahoma State. Went to the Final Four. Yeah, he was there also.
That was good basketball back then, man. Great basketball. I mean, that's when you had a whole collective group of good players. Less coaching, great players, huh?
Yeah, there were some good coaches back then too, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I agree. Hard-nosed coaches, though.
Yeah.
You put your foot down and the players listen at that time. It's a little different now.
It's changed. Yeah, it's definitely more entertainment now than it was back in the day.
Right. Now, so let's talk about, you mentioned NIL, and I'm not going to jump the gun. We're going to go back, then we'll ask you that question. But at Sam Houston, you got the job at UL. What gravitated you to come down to Lafayette and take this particular job?
Well, there were a couple of reasons that I chose to come here. One was I was recruited pretty hard.
Okay.
And the AD at the time was David Walker, assistant AD Scott Farmer, and they called and asked me to come and visit with them, and I did. They waited till our season was over. We'd had a really good team. We actually played Baylor in the Smoothie King Center in the first round. Yeah, I got off to 10 in the NCAA tournament. We got off to 10-0 start, and we wound up losing the game by 9. It was tied with 4 minutes to go. But they had a couple of guys you would remember, Tweety Carter.
Tweety Carter, yes.
Yeah,
from Reserve, Louisiana.
Yeah, one of Louisiana's all-time scoring leaders, and they had a guy from Monroe named Lacedarius Dunn.
Right. Oh, wow.
So they had a little Louisiana
back
flavor.
Memories there.
But I got back from that NCAA tournament game, and I got a call from Scott Farmer and Mr. Walker, and asked me to meet him in Beaumont the next day. And then about an hour later, I got a call from Auburn, and they asked me to meet with them, and then University of Houston. So I interviewed at all 3 places.
Okay.
And but I felt wanted, and I felt like this was the best fit for me, and came here and haven't looked back really.
14 years. Huh?
Yeah. Another thing, Scotty, was at the time we were a 1-bid league in the Southland. I was the Southland Coach of the Decade from 2000 2010.
Okay.
You talk about Coach of the Year. That's a pretty good deal to be Coach of the Decade. And then we were only getting 1 bid, and the Sun Belt had gotten 2 bids in 2008. And I thought that they could continue to get 2 bids, and then I came here, and it's happened once in 14 years. It's not going to happen anymore. The landscape's changed. I'm sure we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Right. You're right. The landscape has changed. So what's in the future for Coach Marlin, just in general?
Well, as long as I'm healthy and still enjoy making a difference with these young men and being around them, I want to continue to coach. I signed a 3-year contract here last year, and hope to fulfill that, and we'll just see where it takes me. But love being around young people. Been on a college campus since I was 18, Scott.
Right.
So most of my life, and I love being a part of a college campus. And UL is a great place. We've got great leadership here, great academics, and just a great culture.
It is. People may not believe that, but South Louisiana is a great place to live, especially good food. I don't know how you keep the guys healthy, or in shape, I should say, with all that good food they got around here.
Well, all I know is when I came, I heard about the freshman 15 and all that, but I think it's the coach's 15. With your man KJ taking me to eat, it didn't take long to put on some pounds.
Absolutely. And you came out to Brobridge, where I'm from, and you got a chance to taste some of that Southern hospitality. I really enjoyed you guys that evening with me celebrating my birthday, so that was a blessing. Absolutely. You talk about KJ. He was one of the assistant coaches that coached with you. Now he's the head coach at Southern. Talk a little bit about it, man, the friendship we all built together.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And Kevin, I had coached against him, Scotty. That's how old I am. Oh, wow. He was at Pan American.
Yes.
And I was at Houston Baptist as a young Division I assistant.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
And, I found a picture of us scoring a bucket over Kevin. I brought it and gave it to him. He remembered the players' names on our team. But followed him as a player, certainly knew how good a player he was, knew that his brother was a great player that went to Syracuse. And gotten to know him, being an assistant coach at other places. And he's been all over the state.
Yes.
I mean, he knows Louisiana. He cares about Louisiana. Has done a great job recruiting the state, and he'd just taken the job at Monroe. And Keith Richard was on the team when I went to Monroe as a GA. Keith was our starting point guard.
I know Keith. Right.
Keith had a little bit more hair than he has now. Not much more, but a little bit. But Keith was a hard-nosed player, excellent leader. And that team, my very first year there with Mike Vining at Monroe, we go to the NCAA tournament and lost to Iowa and Pullman, Washington, 70-63.
Wow, Coach.
So had a great group there. But anyway, Keith had taken the job at Monroe the same year I took this job, and he hired Kevin from Nichols, and he'd been with Kevin, or they'd been together at Louisiana Tech before, right?
Yes, with Paul Millsap.
Yes. So they knew each other, and Kevin was with him just for about a month, maybe 6 weeks, and I called, and I lost a guy, and I picked up the phone and called Keith and said, "Hey, can I talk to Kevin?" And he said yes. And KJ came down. We went to Dino's and had some pizza and chopped it up. And next thing you know, he's here on staff, and that was a blessing.
Yeah.
And getting to know him every day on a day-to-day basis, and the intensity that he has. What a great coach, great defensive mind. And I hated to lose him. He did a great job recruiting for us and coaching, and then I hated to lose him. He went to Tulane. And but when Ron Hunter called, I told him, I said, "You're not going to get anybody better to recruit the state of Louisiana if you want Louisiana guys than Kevin." And of course, now he's at Southern. He was over here last week. He brought his team over to practice. Right. They had homecoming. He got kicked out of the dome. He said, "Coach, can I come over?" He brings his team over once a year and practices here at our place. And
well, that shows a relationship y'all have built, and that's how I got to know you too, Kevin. But he spoke highly about you, and like anytime you get an assistant coach and they go off to be a head coach, that says a lot about you, though, Coach.
Well, I appreciate Kevin, and I really am excited. He called me, told me about the job. He had been offered the Southern job before and didn't do it, and this time he felt like it was the right time. But we talked about it at length 2 or 3 times the week before he took it, and had a great first year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And tough Kevin had to get rid of his leading scorer, make some changes, and they were right there in the SWAC race till the very last 2 weeks.
Absolutely. I followed him, but that once again, that shows what you have built and the people around you. Y'all been so successful together, and I'm going to say it again, hats off to you and what you brought to the table with Kevin. And our friendship it's going to last forever, you and I. So I appreciate that. Coach, we're going to take a little break, and we're going to come right back. We're right back after these commercial breaks.
Attention high school students. Ready to hit the road? Coach C Driving Academy is here to make you a confident and safe driver. With experienced instructors, flexible schedules, and a friendly atmosphere, Coach C Driving Academy is the perfect place to get your driver's license. Join the hundreds of students who've already mastered the road with Coach C. Don't wait. Call or visit us online to sign up today. Coach C Driving Academy, your key to an open road. Off the Muscle Movers. Contact Alfonso Williams at 337-278-6539. Rob Chevalier, attorney at law. Call Rob for all of your legal needs. Blake Miguez, Louisiana State Senator, Hall of Famer Cigar Club. Contact President Tyrone Bucket Jones. Contact Vice President Brian Jones. Now back to Sports Talk with Coach Scotty Burrell.
All right, welcome back to Sports Talk, man. I'm Scotty Burrell here in the Cajun Dome with my guy, Bob Marlin, the head coach of UL Ragin Cajun, year 14. Am I correct?
Starting year 15.
Starting year 15. Cajuns basketball, exciting season coming up. Coach, you want to talk a little bit about your team and what can we expect from the Cajuns this year?
Well, we've got a good group, Scotty. They work hard. They're good young men, and we had 3 all-conference players last year. We lost a couple of them, and unfortunately, we lost Hosanna Katinge, our starting center, an all-conference preseason first-team pick, our biggest and most physical player inside, to an injury, non-contact injury. He's going to be out for the year. But I like this group. They have done a good job in the summer and fall, and we're very talented. I think we really helped ourselves at the guard position. We got a couple of guys back. We added some pieces. We really stepped up and got some depth at the wing. And we're looking forward to having a really good year. We've got a great home schedule, and we're going to play a lot of games in November, December in the Cajun Dome. In fact, we only leave the Dome twice after November 4th. We open up November 4th against Kent State, and then we go to Houston November 13th for a single game, easy trip.
Right.
Won't be an easy game.
Easy game, but easy trip. Calvin Sampson and the Cougars.
and then we turn around and the next week we play Rice here at home, and then we're going to fly out the next day to go to the Virgin Islands, and we'll play 3 games in Paradise Jam there with outstanding field. And we come back, Scotty, and it's Thanksgiving week. We don't leave again until January 4th.
Oh, the fans should be excited about that.
So we got a great home schedule, got some good teams coming in, and we got a chance to get something going here in the preseason.
Well, I think the fans should be exciting to see you guys come out in the 24-25 season. I know I will be happy to come here and catch a few games. So, Coach, you lost some good players last year, Jalen Dalcourt, and who was a friend of mine. I know you know his grandfather, Mr. Dalcourt, man. That's my guy. But let's this year, anybody in particular? You mentioned the big guy who's unfortunately we lost that you looking for play with high capacity basketball this year? Anybody that you want to single out that you
Yeah, our guys, we've signed a 4-star center forward, Jeremiah Evans from Shreveport Southwood High School.
Okay.
Average 20, 15, 6 blocks. A really fine young man, and just an easygoing guy. And we were excited to sign him last year. And Derek Zimmerman, one of my coaches, another Louisiana guy from Monroe. Dad was a famous coach at Wasserman.
Now Zimmerman, didn't he play at Mississippi State?
He played at Mississippi State, my alma mater.
I thought so.
Was an all-SEC player there. I think led the league in assists one time, and then had a really good pro career, and didn't get into coaching until his later years.
Okay, I thought that name.
Chasing that dream, but yeah, Derek's an outstanding coach, and he did a great job with Jeremiah. He knew some people up there in Shreveport at the school, and really helped our cause. So
absolutely.
But we're excited about getting him. He's going to play even more now, Scotty, with Hosanna out. He's going to have to grow up quick and learn what college basketball is all about. Kyron Ratliff's a third-year sophomore coming back. He's from New Orleans, and he's done a really good job for us this summer. He's played the best he's played. He's about 6'8", 215. Can really shoot the ball. Can make three-point shots. Certainly like him. We've got Mike Thomas is back, who you remember.
Yeah, I remember
Mike has started for.
Mike should be a senior now.
He's a senior. He started for 3 years in different spots and been a key role player for all that time.
I've coached against him when he was playing at Hamilton Christian
for Dexter. Yeah,
for Dexter Washington.
Yeah, he's a good one, and Mike's really come on these last 2 years and done a great job. Kentrell Garnett, former walk-on from Donaldsonville that went to Catholic in Baton Rouge, is a starter for us, one of the best three-point shooters.
I was about to say that. He improved on his three-pointer. He probably was a great shooter then, but I've watched the games, and he improved a lot.
He's done a really good job. He's worked hard. He's got some pull-up to his game now. He's worked on his ball handling, and he's a super defender on the ball, as good as anybody that I've seen in college basketball for a guy his size. Also coming back, we got Chancellor White, who last year hurt his MCL and had surgery and missed the entire year for us. He was going to be in our rotation last year. He's 6'6" out of Houston, wing player. London Fields from Tupelo, from my hometown, my high school.
Tupelo.
London is 6'4", had a really good year for us last year, about 185. The two-guard position, Brandon Hardy, another two-guard from Zachary that played well for us last year. Really like Brandon. Kendall Davis is a guy we signed from Chicago, Scotty, that we're on.
The Windy City guy.
Yeah, and he's a super young man, but when he gets on the court, he like the Chicago guy.
Yeah, I like that.
You know how those guys play.
Windy City, huh? Yeah.
They've got some toughness, so Kendall's going to really help us. He's athletic, 6'5", good player. We signed a young man from Morocco that was at a Florida junior college named Mustafa El Amudakil.
Well, I'd like to hear the announcers say those names at the
wait till you see his jersey. That thing curves over that name. It's something else.
You got to give them like they do here in the South. Give them a nickname and make it simple. Just put it.
We call him Mo.
Okay, very simple, Coach.
I can spit that out.
Very simple, Coach.
He averaged 25 in junior college. Was the fourth leading scorer in the country in junior college. Can really get to the basket and score the ball, and is a good three-point shooter too. We picked up Christian Wright, who transferred. He started off at Georgia, playing for Tom Crean.
Okay.
Transferred. Tom Crean lost his job. He wound up going to Oregon State and played there. Did a really good job. and then we got him to come back, and he's done a nice job at the point for us in the summer. He and Mike Thomas are two quality point guards I've got there, and we'll play those guys together quite a bit.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Give us another option. Karan Davis is another guy we signed, a transfer from Louisville, about 6'7" from Gary, Indiana. Is athletic, and then Zeke Cook is a guy that was at Jackson State. He's from Starkville, Mississippi, a little small town, Phoebe, Mississippi, right outside.
Well, Coach, you sound here listening to you speak. Sound like you expecting to have a good year if everybody stay healthy.
No, exactly. We are. We're better at the guard position and wing position, more deeper than we've been, and we're a little bit strapped right now inside because of losing Hosanna. But hey, we're going to meet the challenges head on, embrace them, and see where we are.
Well, all that does is give another kid an opportunity to step up. Most kids want to, it's my turn to get in, my turn to shine. But hey, welcome to the Sun Belt. They're gonna get what they asked for. So we want to ask Coach, reflecting on your 14 years with the Cajuns, what are some of the most memorable moments or achievements in for you?
Well, it's hard to pinpoint, a certain one. There's so many. Scotty, I think that first year when we got here, I inherited 6 seniors. They fought me, and KJ and the staff. They fought us for a while, and we wound up. We started 3-14, and I've never been 3-14 in my life in anything as assistant coach, head coach. So it was tough, and the guys continued to work, and then we came back after Christmas, and a couple guys didn't return to the team, and it helped us in a sense. And we got on a roll. We started playing good. We won 10 conference games in a row, 11 overall, and we went from 3-14 to 14-14, and was pretty impressed by that. We got beat by Western Kentucky, who we'd beat here. And the crowds came out that year, Scotty, if you can remember. The crowds were like 3,000, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. When we finished playing, we won 8. I had over 8,000 for a Denver game that we won in overtime.
I remember when Denver was in the conference. I was out here.
Good stuff. And so that was really special. That group got it going for us. Lorraine Gary, Travis Bureau, Randall Daigle, some of those. And then we turned around the next year and brought in a freshman named Alfred Payton.
Well, so we're going to get to him.
Yeah, we talk about him later. Some of the things he did and helped us. And then, we're going to the NCAA tournament 14 was fantastic. We beat Georgia State by 1 in overtime in New Orleans. And then we went and played San Antonio, played Creighton, and lost by 10. And they had McDermott. His son was on the team.
Yeah, father's son.
Still playing in NBA, and a career 41% shooter in the NBA. He could really shoot.
I just read an article on him just the other day. Somebody picked him up. I forget the team, but somebody, because you're right. Absolutely. Great shooter.
Still at it. Alfred tells me that they talk all the time, and when they're paths cross, and still good friends to this day. But that was a good one. Golly, the team that won 27 games, we were 26-4 at one point, and that was Bryce Washington, Jonathan Stowe, Frank Bartlett.
That was a good group.
Marcus
I
remember
that. That was a good
Malik Marquette.
Most of those guys are playing professionally overseas.
And even the guys that backed them up, Justin Miller, Jarekus Davis, P.J. Hardy, was a good shooter for Cedric Russell.
Right. I remember that.
That team was deep, and we went down to the Caymans and played in the first ever Cayman Classic, and we opened up, beat Iowa by about 15.
I remember that day.
And that was we knew that team was going to be really good, and they were. That was a lot of fun coaching that group. And then, of course, 2 years ago we had another great group that won 26, and Jordan Brown was a mid-major national player of the year. We lost to Tennessee in the NCAA tournament about 3.
Had us everybody screaming at the television back here in Louisiana. I know I was screaming and hollering. So, Coach, you talk about NCAA appearances, Sun Belt Championship. What was the key factor in your team's success during those seasons that led to that?
I think leadership. I mean, the players have to take ownership of the team. And KJ will tell you this, I'm sure he uses it now, but I always said that different players drive the bus throughout the season. And if I drive the bus all the time, Scotty, we're not very good.
I hear that.
So I need different guys to step up. And one night it's your night, one night it's the next guy's night, and everybody contributes, and that's what makes a team. And we got to stay connected. That all the teams that win are connected. I mean, really connected. They care about the team. They care about each other. They don't care about personal glory. They want to sacrifice for the team. And everybody uplifts and are inspired by other success.
Right.
And that's when you're really good. And to watch those teams come together, and when I don't drive the bus and I just step back and watch what they're doing and how they've taken ownership, and that's very gratifying.
It's amazing. Just to add to that analogy, when you said everybody got to drive the bus, if I drive the bus on a long trip, eventually I'm gonna get sleepy. So ain't nothing gonna go right. We got to pull over, and that's when you mean that. So everybody got to take accountability. Everybody got
different terms.
It might be your game tonight, might be this, but we are a team. That's like the old cliche is, there's no I in team. But no. So Coach, we talked a little bit about mentioning Alfred Payton. You had the lottery pick, which is one of the, if anybody don't know that, to get a lottery pick from your program, that says a lot of how you built these young men, your recruiting process. How did y'all approach coaching a standout player like Payton, and what impact did he have on the team while he was here at UL?
Well, we could do a podcast just about Alfred,
yeah,
for sure. Maybe we should in the future. We'll get him over here.
Well, I'd love that.
Sit down. He came over this summer and visited with us in August, end of July, I should say. But, Kevin recruited him. And at the end of the year, he wasn't even the best guard on his high school team, Scotty.
I heard that story, though. Yeah.
And so you know the story, but the other player got dismissed for discipline reasons, and then Alfred's game just took off. And so, again, we talked about KJ knowing everybody in the state. Was people in New Orleans calling and said, you need to get over and see this kid. He's playing really well. And so Kevin went and bird dogged him about 5 or 6 games in a row. And they played Scotlandville against Pancake. You remember that?
Yeah, that was my guy.
Yeah.
The Thomas boys.
Yep. And so we visited with him then, and then went over to John Eric, met with him at the principal's office over there. He was about 6'2", weighed 147.
Yeah, he was a
skinny kid, shy. And I remember driving off from Eric, and I asked Kevin, I said, you sure this is the guy you want me to give the keys to the bus to for the next 4 years? And thank goodness that
he talked you into it.
Yeah, we did it. And but Alfred came over, and of course, the history with his dad being a great football player at Grambling, and was the career sacks leader at one time in the CFL. He had a great Canadian football career, and Alfred came in and just worked and got better. But you could see, Scotty, that first week he was here to summer school, that he had it. He had it here, and he had it up here. He wasn't let anything get in his way.
That says a lot.
And then we pushed him, and I tried to teach him. Kevin would push him. We'd take turns pushing on him, and great kid.
Yeah.
I mean, fantastic.
I met him a couple of times when I came through here. You're absolutely right.
And then, one of the best things about Alfred, too, and you were talking about things earlier, the highlights here, was that we tried to get Alfred, after his sophomore year, we tried to get him in the Chris Paul camp, because Chris Paul obviously played with the Hornets, and Alfred watched him growing up. We couldn't get him in there, and I talked to NBA people at ESPN. We could not get him in the camp. They wanted older guys, different guys. And so one day I was reading an article about Javon Felix.
Yes.
Who we know, St. Aug, who played in the Dome too. Another guy that I have a lot of respect for, played at Texas for Rick Barnes.
I actually went out on the AAU trip. We collaborated together with Javon Felix and the team, and went out to Mississippi. He was a heck of a point guard, but go ahead.
Yeah, he was a good one. So Javon was trying out after 2 years at Texas, or 3 years at Texas. No, I'm sorry, his first year after Texas. He goes and is at Colorado Springs in the 19 and under USA tryouts. So I read that article, and it was on the weekend. I got back and got some money. I told the coaches, our staff meeting, I said, we messed up. We're trying to get Elfrid to Chris Paul camp. We should get him in USA basketball. And I called. Billy Donovan was a coach, and we're friends. I called Billy. He said, they've got the team set for the tryouts, although there's a young man from Duke whose grandfather's sick. He may not make it. And you need to call another person that will do the, I don't pick the players.
Gotcha.
So you got to call and get permission. So I called Sean Ford, and he asked me two questions. He said, is he 19? Okay. And does he have a passport? And I said, yes, he's 19. And yes, he has a passport. And the crazy thing is we just got him 3 weeks earlier on a trip to China.
Wow. God is good.
And that's how he got his passport.
God is good.
It's an unbelievable story. Well, then he goes up there and he makes the team. And he's just kicking everybody around and all these high major guards. And he would call me after each session. And they'd play in the morning, afternoon, and night. So they do Friday and Saturday. He's calling me twice a day.
Right.
And I said, who'd you play with today? He goes, well, I played with Marcus Smart. And I said, that's good. Who's your backcourt partner in this game? Marcus Smart. Well, Marcus Smart was on the 18 and under team the year before, coached by Billy Donovan.
Right.
So I said, that's a good thing. And I'll never forget, I was in Mississippi at my mother's house. I was in the shower about 7 o'clock. I got out that Sunday morning, and my wife said, Billy just called you. And so I called him back, and he said, hey, we're going to cut the team today from 24 to 16. And your guy made the cut. In fact, he goes, your guy's going to make the team. He's in our top 8.
Oh, wow.
So I get off the phone. I called Mr. Payton. It's Father's Day.
Oh, man.
I said, Elfrid, happy Father's Day. Your son's going to represent the United States in the 19 and under. And then the next week, they announced the team, and they whittle it down to 12. And they go from Colorado Springs straight to D.C., Scotty. And they're working at the Wizards facility. And Billy asked me to come in and go to dinner with him and Tony Bennett and Shaka Smart, the two assistant coaches. They wanted to learn more about Elfrid. And they were saying, is Elfrid going to be content to make the team? Is Elfrid, a team guy? What's he like? And
that was easy, of course.
Very easy trip. And then he winds up going to Prague. He starts every game. For 5 games, he does what he needs to do. And I tell players all the time, Scotty, that he played himself with a bunch of lottery players into the lottery. And all these general managers are calling me during the games. Amazing. And a couple of them I'd already talked to, and I said, I told you it was good. But I know how that is.
Right,
as a coach,
right.
you get a lot of calls.
Yes.
And you want to make sure. But I was glad to have a hand in that. And that made him a first-round pick. Wow. And Elfrid worked himself into the locker.
You're a little skinny kid. You're the one that should we give him the keys to the bus?
Yeah.
And he ended up flying the airplane, in my opinion.
Oh, man. And he came over here. He came over at the end of July. Scotty, 6'4", 200, strong, looked great. A father, got a beautiful little 4-year-old daughter. And family's doing great.
And that's
just
all
really
That's
excited about it.
all you want as a coach, to have these kids be successful, no matter if you make it to the NBA or not. Just walk away with a great sense of stability and become a great person in the community wherever you reside. Man, amazing, Coach. Amazing, man. Amazing story. Sports Talk, I hope you're listening. Go ahead, Coach.
No, I got to cut you off because, one more guy we got to talk about, and that's his roommate, Sean Long. From Morgan City.
Yes, I got the list of players right here too.
Kevin went same high school, right?
Mm-hmm.
And KJ knew the family, and we tried to get Sean really hard early. He wound up signing with Mississippi State.
Yes.
And then he went there for the summer, and then in the fall, right before Thanksgiving, he called us, and actually his mother called Kevin and said, "Hey, will you bring my baby home?" And we said, "Absolutely." And so he came in and was what a player and career Sean had. Very skilled with the ball, could shoot, could score, could rebound, a ferocious rebounder.
Yes.
He's the all-time Sun Belt Conference leading rebounder.
Looking at my notes, you're right.
I mean, and it'll never be broken, Scotty. It's by 100 plus, and now guys aren't going to stay 4 years in the same school anyway.
Right. So yeah.
And he's the second leading scorer in Sun Belt history. You know, and just what a player he was. And he played in the NBA. Another highlight for me, he played for the 76ers. Elford's with the Magic. They're playing each other. They're roommates. And I fly into Orlando with my wife, and we meet with those guys and go to the game. And then after the game, we hung out for a little bit, and then Sean had to go. But they were on the floor at the same time, and it was pretty special.
That got to be. You had to put a smile on you and your wife's face to see the guys that you coached through college, man. It has to be. I mean, I know, because I didn't coach college ball, but I've sent guys to college that you well known, just to watch these guys play 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes on the college floor, knowing where we come from in these little small areas. It's amazing. I tell these guys, you know, it might not seem a lot to a lot of people, but it is a lot. It's amazing, guys. Not many people could say, hey, man, I ran out on the college floor in Division I basketball. Most of the guys around here go to JUCO and got to come back, go the hard way, but amazing. So you had these two guys, and how you recruiting? Share some insight on your recruiting process, how you identify and attract these type of talented guys to your program.
Well, first of all, let me go back to Sean. One thing, you know, again, he's a tremendous father. He does a great job with his children, and he's playing in Japan, working hard there, and trying to get him in the Hall of Fame here. He didn't graduate. That's always an issue. They have to go through a couple of hurdles, but I think we're going to get him in here soon, back into the Hall of Fame, which he certainly deserves to be in there. But recruiting, Scotty, we go out, we look for talent, we look for good people. And if you're a great player, not a good person, then we're probably going to pass on you.
Man, coach.
You know, because the opportunity is there for issues if you're not about the team, about the right stuff. And, you know, unfortunately, I've had to deal with that some as a college coach. And, you know, some years you do, some years you don't. But just trying to go out looking for a specific position, a specific size. You know, you and I've talked about players before. You've told me about guards in the area that could shoot or whatever, but they're just too thin, too little. Kentrell Garnett's an exception.
Right.
Not many of those people make it that are that small or get the opportunity to make it at the Division I level. But we look at academics, we look at the whole picture, and we vet them pretty good and make sure that they can come in and be successful, and you know, they're about the right things, about academics, about family, about their faith. So all that plays a big part into it now, and it's a little bit harder because in transfer portal, instead of recruiting Elford for, you know, a few months or Sean for a year and a half, basically, now you got a speed recruit, and it's like a speed date.
Like speed date.
You got about 30 days, if that. You know, sometimes just a week to make a decision, and you got to trust people that you know. And I've got people all over that I really look up to, and if I ask them about a player, they would shoot me straight.
Well, I when I was coaching, I used to tell a lot of players that, and you mentioned that, and when I asked you that question about recruiting, I always say this, and I say, guys, they recruit the person before the player. And some of my players would look at me like, what you mean? I'm like, I don't care if you can score 30 points a night. It's your attitude, your work ethic, your academics, you know. And I always, you brought back a little memory when you mentioned that. And I'm like, yeah, I know I've said that plenty of times, that they always recruit the person before the athlete. And some people don't believe it, but trust me, you just said a mouthful. You heard it right here from Coach Marlin. You got to be a good person to be around all the other guys, because you don't need a bad apple in the barrel. The rest of them will definitely go south. So in recruiting and all that, what challenges, Coach, besides that you face maintaining a competitive teams over the year, and how you address that?
The challenges?
Yes.
To be a competitive team, putting the guys all together, I think that it can be a challenge for sure. but it's fun to put the pieces together and get them in the right place and teach them how to work together, and certainly have success together. That's what's really fun. But just again, hard work. There's no substitute for work. It's all about the work. That was one of KJ's sayings, and we work the guys hard.
Well,
and they want to be coached hard, Scotty. You know that.
Right.
If you're a really good player, you want to be coached because you want to know what's wrong or what I can improve on, so I can get to the next level and continue to play.
Well, that's kind of you kind of answered my next question on how you foster the team chemistry and show the players that they're not only skilled individually but also work well together on the court. So you answered my question, but love the chemistry you have built over the years watching you guys play. You get the guys to play hard. You make the game exciting. You're just watching your mastery. People come to the game and they see people shooting and dunking, but they don't realize the chemistry you guys put together on the floor and these certain substitutions. Everything comes for a reason, and people don't see that. So what are the most significant challenges you observe in college basketball during your tenure, and how do you adapt to those changes?
Well, one thing that my son tells me, which I take as a compliment, is that, Dad, you've been able to adjust and adapt to college basketball because the players have changed. We were joking about Chuck Taylors earlier.
Yeah.
See, but when I played, the Chuck Taylors were black and white. When you played, they were probably colored.
Yeah, they were red and white. Red and white. Yeah.
Okay. But no, and then them became leather, right? Dr. J's.
You remember with the star?
Oh man,
we had that one
star. I
star.
could dunk, Scotty. I put them on. I thought they were gonna help me dunk.
I blew my knee out with the old Dr. J's in my freshman year of high school, listening to my brother. Come on, they tell me you can dunk the ball.
I got one more for you. Remember the suede Converse?
Yes.
And then you put on those footy socks, and then you take them off, and they were the color. The socks were the color of the shoe.
The shoe of the
They'd
soul.
sweat through.
Oh, cool. That's some days, guys.
Yeah.
The shoe game that changed a lot. Huh?
Yeah, it has. But that's one part of it. Certainly the NCAA, things have changed a lot just recently, Scotty, over the last few years, and a lot of good things. I don't agree with the way it has been laid out necessarily. And I'm a member of the NABC Congress. We have one representative from all 32 conferences. We meet once a month on Zooms. Craig Robinson is our leader. Michelle Obama's brother, who was a former coach and a basketball guy. But we are trying to get a seat at the table. A lot of things that NCAA votes on. They have students, of course, but they don't have coaches. They have administrators, athletic directors, conference commissioners.
I didn't know that.
And that's something that they wanted us to talk about moving forward. But we've got to get a seat at the table. And I think there have been a lot of decisions made without a coach in the room.
Yeah.
And some of these things that the intent was good, but you cause more problems by not thoroughly thinking through it before it goes into play. And I think you can look at the transfer portal, NIL. There's a lot of those things that have happened that I think are good. I think the players should be compensated.
Right.
And our guys, certainly are. We have a great cost of attendance here too. And we're happy that, and we want to help the students. You have to have students to have a university.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So the students should come first. And the players, you have to have players to have a team. I told my coaching staff the players have to come first. We have to serve them. And I think we do that at this school very well. And I think we do in general. So I do think they deserve some financial compensation.
Yes.
I tell guys, how lucky can you be to get out of school, have a degree, have gotten money put in your pocket. You've already got a savings account. I couldn't put a deposit on an apartment when I went to Monroe to be a GA at Northeast.
No, sir.
So we know what it's like, and now you can get ahead. You start your little retirement fund while you're in college.
While you're in college, and I agree with you, Coach. Some of these guys need to be compensated. Only thing I don't like, the transferring every year. I think we should put something in place. That's my opinion now, guys. Where at least you have to stay a couple of years because you get a guy that you develop comes out and have a great year. a bigger conference coach come in there and say, hey, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And he's gone. He's like, wow, give me 2 years with this guy. We could have a lot of success here. But something now with the new rules, 1 year and they're out, that's my only pet peeve. Compensation, I'm good because a lot of these young guys make money for the universities when you get the fans in the building, fans at the football stadium. But still a little hesitant on that. I could be here today, gone tomorrow issue.
Well, and you don't like the fact that they chase the money, and guys go after 4 schools in 4 years.
That's
okay,
yeah.
And that I agree with what you said, Scott. I think that would be a good base. As a freshman, you come in, you got to stay 2 years. After that, you can transfer.
Right.
But stay somewhere 2 years and get indoctrinated to that program, that university. And with all the transferring like that, you know it hurts their academics.
Yes.
Because they're losing credits every time they transfer.
Okay.
Most of the time. And it's going to create a situation that's negative. And then another issue that I have is I think the mental health piece. Where's it going to be 6 years from now? Because all these players are getting money, especially Power 5 football players or basketball. But you've got guys that are making big money. Now they're going to graduate. They're not going to play in the NFL
right.
or NBA. And they're going to start a job, and they're going to be going.
Won't make the money that they were making in college.
Not close. And that's going to cause, to me, that can cause depression. And the mental health piece is real. And I've seen that. And I think more attention to that's been good by the NCAA. We focused more on that in recent years. But I worry about it in the future for our youth.
That's a fine point, Coach. Fine point. Like, these guys, like you said, most of them will not make the league. Most of them will not make the NFL field. But and then you got to come back down to the real world. So how do you prepare, Coach, you guys, like Alfred Payton, Sean Long, and I know you have quite a few others overseas. How do you prepare the guys for transitioning to professional basketball? What advice did you give them about pursuing that career?
Just that it's a different step. I mean, it's not like going from high school to college. It's a bigger jump when you go, and you're paid. It's all about performance.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I remember telling Alfred when he left, Kevin and I used to tell him, hey, let me tell you, you're going to go to the NBA, and you're going to be in a locker room with a dozen other guys. They're all going to be older than you. And when practice is over, they're going to go do something with their family, or they're going to go eat. They're not going to include you. You're going to be kind of like the outcast.
Yes.
And that's something that you have to understand going in. There'll be a veteran guy. You're 20 years old going in the league. There's going to be a guy that's 32, and you play the same position, and he's not going to care about you. He's caring about feeding his own family.
Yes.
And so it's kind of a dog-eat-dog world, but it's about being professional. And we tell our guys here, same thing. You want to be professional, you have to start. You have to act. Everything is important. Everything affects every decision,
I like
right?
That.
The little things matter. And so just to be professional, to make sure you work. And I heard a college coach this summer at a clinic. He said the last practice in July, before they took off in August and started back school, his players were, and this was a major college, said his players were frustrated a little bit, didn't have a great practice that last day. And one of his guys says, Coach, we've been working, and he said, we work 4 hours a week. So, when you get to 40 hours a week, see the mentality. It's about the work and being professional.
Well, Coach, you're right. As you mentioned, going into the next level of professional, it's each man for themselves. You are a team, but like you said, everybody got a family to feed, and the next man might be smiling with you and patting you on the behind when you make a good play, but in the back of his mind, he wants that position, he wants your job, and especially when you come in as a young rookie, you don't know what to expect. These guys, like you mentioned, the mental health part. These guys have been there 10, 12 years. They don't want to go back and get a 9 to 5, especially if they didn't make the type of money like the Kobe's and the Jordans and all that. So it's a mental health issue. Coach, I want to take one step back before we get to my next question. I wanted to ask, how much would the NIL and the transfer portal hurt the high school kids? Like you have some guys that would have probably gotten a chance to be a Ragin Cajun, but you got a 2-year starter from somewhere else decides to transfer, and you can bring him in with more experience than a high school kid. In your opinion, how much did that hurt the high school kid?
I think it's hurt the high school guys a lot. I think COVID really hurt them too. Both of those together has caused an issue with the high school players, Scotty, in my opinion. They just don't get overlooked for the most part. And as a college coach, if I can bring a guy in, he's got to be able to play as a freshman.
Right.
You know, and we have Jeremiah Evans this year. We think he can help our team. Thank goodness we brought him in with age going down. So, you know, but if you bring a good player in and they play well, 1 or 2 years are going to leave. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
You know, we had a young man from Rayville, Malik Wilson. Came in, was freshman year in the league, made the all-tournament team as a sophomore, had a really good year, was developing, doing well. He left, went to Texas Tech, didn't work out there. They didn't renew him. He left and went to Houston, walked on. And I'm really proud of Malik this last year. He stuck it out.
Right, he got a few minutes.
And he played, and Houston had a lot of injuries, and he stepped up and he played big for him.
Absolutely.
And he did what he could do, you know, which he's a great rebounder, really good defensive player, and a team guy. So, and, you know, he's got a chance to win a national championship.
Right.
I'm happy for that, for sure. But you lose guys, and I'm okay with that. But that's why we're hesitant to take a high school player, you know. And I think the Power 4 schools or Power 5 schools, whatever you call it today, I can't keep up. Everybody's changing conferences.
I know it.
But anyway, if they get a guy, a freshman, same thing. They're going to have to really be good to go to that level. So there's just less people being taken.
I tell a lot of guys that with that happening, you probably could have been a Division I player, but more or less you're going to be an NAIA player or a JUCO player. It's just how it is with the, like you said, the conferences changing and the transfer portal. It did and it will hurt a lot of high school kids. So, Coach, looking ahead, you're feeling good about this team despite losing your big guy. You're hoping the young man you just mentioned can step up and fill that gap. What are the goals for the Cajuns this season, and what steps are you taking to try to achieve those, Coach?
Well, the goals are always the same. You know, we have a group of core goals that never change, and that's to win the championship of the conference, win the conference tournament, go to the NCAA, and win and advance. All right, those are our goals, and we've gotten close a couple times on all of them, but it's important to keep moving forward, have a growth mindset, and try to get better. So that's what we're looking for. Another goal that we have, Scotty, we were able to accomplish 2 years ago with a 26-8 team was to have an undefeated season at home, and we had the first undefeated season ever in the Cajun Dome, and the first at UL in 50 years.
Oh man, that's
so
amazing.
that was quite an accomplishment there. We'd been 14-1 before, but we'd never been undefeated, and we're able to pull that off. But you know, and to be the best basketball team we can be, you know, if we and play hard, play the right way. I think that's important. You talked about our fans and seeing how you're connected. You play hard. I think if you watch the bench, Scotty, you can really tell a lot about a team when they come off the floor and they huddle and they get together, they connected. I think that's something that's really big. But we teach them every day. We work every day. We strive to be the best we can be, and our goal is to win the league.
Well, I tell you what, you guys that took a guy from me, gave him a walk-on scholarship, walk-on deal, Donovan Williams. He's now our new Cecilia girls head basketball coach. Coach Kevin Johnson mentioned that to me, how much he was your scout team leader at one time, if I'm not mistaken, that he was going to be a great basketball coach. He's starting to do a great job. First year, but the girls are buying into what he's doing. I wanted to mention that to you because it's just a testament to what you have brought to these young men. Like you said, everybody's not gonna make the next level, but he speaks highly about you guys. So I just wanted to share that with you about how much you guys meant to the guys that played for you. Despite they wasn't a superstar, despite they wasn't the 30-minute guys, you still left an impact on that young man. So I wanted to share that with you.
Well, Donovan was the first walk-on we had. I remember him coming up here. His mom brought him up here, and his brothers, good people, really good family. And Donovan did a nice job for us. As you said, he didn't play a lot, but he ran a scout team. He learned. He had his moments where he did play and played well. He and Elford are still friends. You know, Elford's friends with all those guys that played with him. And you know, Don was part of that championship team. So it's always good, Scotty, to hear that he's doing well. I knew that was the case. You know, I got another one coaching high school here in town. He called me today, Jacob Broussard at LCA. Wow, and, you know, Lorraine Gary played for me. He's a very successful coach up in Frisco, Texas, at Emerson High School. And I could go on and on.
Oh, yeah.
It's fun. And to have coaches, you know, one, I tell them, you sure you want to do this?
Yeah.
Because it's changing quite a bit. But to have guys that I've got superintendents, I've got people that are engineers, you know, accountants, even had one go to priesthood. Wow. You know, and man, I'm so excited for all those guys. And if you feel like you played a small part in their life. But here's the thing, Scotty, and my first coach, when I took those Chuck Taylors home, and that jock strap, we wore jock straps back then too.
Yeah, you had to, because they played a little more physical back then.
But when I took that home that first day, I had a coach that I really loved, and he told me he made a difference in my life. And he told me one time, he said, you know what? I saw him right before he passed, and he said, you know, you think that you make a difference in your kids' lives? He said, but they really make a difference in yours.
Absolutely. That's a fine statement, Coach, because I haven't coached college ball, but you know I've been around a long time doing AAU, volunteering, worked for girls basketball, volunteered for boys basketball, have put several girls and boys into college. Never was expecting for them to go, because that's when you were learning how to become a young lady or a young man. And these people were basically your dad when dad wasn't there. It basically was your mom when mom wasn't there. So if they don't leave a long-lasting impact on you, I don't think they did their job. Would you agree, Coach?
No, absolutely. And my junior high coach, he was an 8th grade basketball coach, had an unbelievable record. Won 90% of his games over about 20 years. Was a 9th grade football coach. Same thing. He was asked to be the head high school football coach like 4 times. He wouldn't do it. He liked that junior high age, you know. And you've done that, Scotty. You know what that group's like, and just a winner. And side story, he right before he passed, I think it was in maybe 15 or 16, I think. And we had a game in New Orleans, and he passed. His service was the day of our game against UNO. And the team went over. We practiced here, and the team went over to New Orleans, spent the night. And the next morning, I got up, and the school flew me to Tupelo, and I went to the service. And one of my high school classmates and graduated with me, one of the senior starters with me, is a preacher. He did the service.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and a bunch of players came back. I took my mom to lunch. I got on a plane. I flew to New Orleans, and we beat UNO that night in overtime.
The Angels were flying with you.
Big time.
Angels were
Big
flying
time.
with
It was all him. It was all him.
Man,
so,
Coach,
definitely made an impact.
Yeah, you know, it gives me goosebumps because I'm a very sentimental guy. People might say, "Oh, you're softy," but no, I am, because I love the game. I love coaching, which I never thought I would get into coaching. And my first job was coaching girls, and that gave me more of a sense of loving the game more than I could imagine, because coaching girls and boys is totally different. But these girls never believed that it was possible to have a decent team. A couple of girls I put in major college never thought, like, I'm not going to play college basketball. I wasn't even thinking about that, Coach. And I'm like, you are really good. So, no, it's stories that we can share here at Sports Talk. Coach, my final question, can you share a particular impact story or lesson from your coaching career that helped shape your philosophy or approach to the game?
Well, again, I go back to my junior high coach. My high school coach was good. He helped me to see the game through a point guard's eyes and through a coach's eyes, really. Mm-hmm. I remember, Scotty, my third game, my senior year, we went to Grenada and we lose, and I was 2 for 7 from the field. We got home and he calls me in his office. He said, "You want to play?" And I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Well, our junior high team, our 9th grade team, had gone 30-0, and they had 2 6'6" and 6'4" that were all in our top 6. And he said, "I want you to bring the ball up the floor, run the team, get it to those 3 guys, and play good defense, and make your free throws."
And that's exactly what you did.
The rest of the year, 31 games after that game. For the year, I shot the ball 67 times.
Wow.
So you take 7 out, right?
Yeah.
So I only scored double figures a couple times.
Right.
So I was never a scorer, but it made me see the game in a different light. Okay. And then once I started coaching, I've been blessed to work for so many great coaches. And Mike Vining at Northeast is a Hall of Fame coach. There, retired, and he gave me a chance. And I went from there to Houston Baptist. I worked for Gene Iba, who was Hank Iba's nephew, and I learned the Mr. Iba way to do things. Old Oklahoma A&M, won back-to-back championships in the 40s. And then I worked for Tommy Jones. He was great too at Houston Baptist. And Dave Hobbs was a great defensive coach at Alabama. I worked for Dana Altman, who's now the coach at Oregon. Worked for him at Marshall for 1 year.
Coach.
But I took something from each
Everybody,
one. Yeah.
Right.
And then at the end, I tell young people that want to coach, it's very simple. You have to be yourself. You can't. I used to say I can't be Bobby Knight. I'm not Coach Knight.
Right.
It's not me. Okay. But if you're fake, the guys pick up on it immediately.
These kids will call you out quickly.
Yeah, and in the NBA, it's the worst, and that's why you see so many NBA players coaching, because they trust the family there that these guys have played, they understand. And so just take what you can from people that you have enjoyed working with or learned from, and then what they did you didn't like, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Yeah, simple.
What do you want Bob Marlin legacy to be when you said, I'm done, I'm hanging it up?
I've never really thought about it, Scotty, but we are getting a little bit older. So, the same things that have been said. I worked hard, tried to be the best that I could for the young men. The games are important, but it's not about that. It's about doing things the right way. And I think having guys graduate, move on, and be successful, like we just talked about, and having a player call you on Thanksgiving, and that you hadn't heard from in years, and that's totally unexpected.
Yeah,
and he said, "Coach, I just wanted to say thanks."
That's a great feeling.
And from that guy, you wouldn't think it. Some are going to do it.
Right.
And it's kind of like when you leave high school and you go off to college, you're friends with some friends, and then you just get away and you get farther away from it. And for the first couple of years, the guys will call.
Right.
But, I got hit up by Cedric Russell just the other day.
Oh, amazing.
And all that's important, and
yes, indeed.
It makes a difference.
Yes,
and
indeed.
I love my players, and hopefully I've helped them get to a place where maybe they couldn't go by themselves.
Well, I know you somewhat personally. You've helped. I'll say that you've helped. We're going to take a little break, guys. We'll be right back with our closing remark. Coach Bob Marlin, UL Ragin Cajuns.
Looking for the best seafood in town? Come on down to Crazy Belt Crawfish Seafood Restaurant. Indulge in their mouth-watering crawfish, succulent shrimp, and the freshest oysters around. Every bite bursts with authentic Cajun flavors that will leave you craving for more. Whether it's a family night out or a special celebration, Crazy About Crawfish is the place to be. We're open 7 days a week. Visit Crazy About Crawfish Seafood Restaurant today, where every meal is a celebration. Vincent Alexander, District 7 Parish Councilman. Angel Architect. Call Glenn Angel for all of your architectural needs. 1011 Burrard Street, Bro Bridge. 3S Trucking. Owner, operator, Chris Simon. Flatbed hauling, dump truck hauling, anything you need hauled, call Chris Simon at 337-319-8587. Marshall Jimmy Dupree, St. Martin Parish. Now back to Sports Talk with Coach Scotty Burrell with closing comments from our special guests.
Okay, welcome back. We're here with Coach Bob Marlin, UL Ragin Cajun. Man, if you're going to listen to this interview, what a great in-depth interview with Coach Marlin. Coach, we want to thank you for joining us and sharing some insights with the UL Ragin Cajun basketball program. We want everybody to stay tuned for some good action in the 24-25 season with Coach Marlin and the young Cajun team. Man, they're excited. Coach, anything you'd like to touch on that I know we can stay here and have this sports talk conversation all night, but you got to get home and I got to get home. But anything you'd like to touch on that fans would like to know about you or the Cajuns?
No, just that, I love living in South Louisiana, like you mentioned earlier, Scotty. I had driven through here so many times on I-10 and even been to the Cajun Dome a couple of times to watch the top 28 recruit when I was at Sam Houston. But until I moved here, you can't explain the culture and the good people of South Louisiana. They're passionate and they love food. They love to talk. They love to have a good time. But they're great people, and I've met some wonderful people here that'll be friends for life, and that's been really special.
One thing I gotta say, your accent never changed. You didn't get that South Louisiana accent like most coaches or most players that get when they stay here for 14 years.
Well, I can't fake it. I know some coach tried to fake it and it didn't work very good.
You always get that way, yeah. But now just teasing, guys. We're here at the UL with Coach Bob Marlin, UL Ragin Cajun men's basketball. We'll be right back with our final thoughts.
When it comes to protecting your rights and securing your future, trust Boyer, Hebert, and Angel attorneys at law. With years of experience and a commitment to excellence, we provide top-notch legal services tailored to your needs. And for all of your real estate transactions, the closing companies ensure a smooth and efficient process from start to finish. With expert guidance and unparalleled service, your peace of mind is our priority. Boyer, Hebert, and Angel attorneys at law and the closing companies, your trusted partner in law and real estate. Call us today to learn more. Justin Cantu, attorney at law. Call Justin at 337-909-1776. Dr. Homer Williams, a trusted healthcare provider within our community for over 35 years. Panda Bear Cares. Owners Stephanie and Langston Babineau, giving to local battered women and children. Now back to Sports Talk with Coach Scotty Burrell and the final say. Either you can't or you don't won't.
Okay, welcome back. Sports Talk Conversation, man. I'm Scotty Burrell. Visiting here with a good friend of mine. If you don't know Sports Talk, we are friends. That's my guy, Coach Bob Marlin. Been knowing him for over 14 years now since he's been at UL. Coach was honored to have one of my great friends to be his assistant coach, who now coaches his own college program. Coach, once again, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show today. Your insights to the game, your experiences as a coach here with the Ragin Cajun and in the past, your dedication to the sports has been truly inspiring. We want to wish you and the team continuing success in the upcoming season. To all our listeners, thank you for tuning in to Sports Talk Conversation. I'm Scotty Burrell. Our final thoughts is sponsored by the Fellowship Church in Bro Bridge, Pastor Rodney Chidwood and the gang. This has been Sports Talk. Stay tuned for more exciting interviews and updates with your favorite sports team and athlete. Until next time, Coach Marlin, thank you, brother. Nothing but love. This has been Sports Talk with Coach Scotty Burrell. Good night.
Spors Talk with Scotty Burrell. Either you can or you don't want. It's Sports Talk with Scotty Burrell. We go hard in the